Mother was in shock when she saw the doctors wrapping our baby in a plastic bag. A newborn baby born at just 6 months had to be put inside a plastic bag to keep him warm. Isabella Gilbraith, 33, of Stropworton-Severn in Worcestershire, went into labor at 25 weeks, 101 days ago, and was taken to hospital. The mother of 4 gave birth to Bess, who weighed just 1 pound 4 ounces and was so small that he had to be tucked inside a plastic-wrapped newborn bag to keep him warm just moments after he was born. The newborn, who fits in his parents' hands as a little hanging leg, spent the first weeks of his life in intensive care at Bristol Children's Hospital while his lungs were developing. His parents hope he will be healthy enough to go home by June 22, his original due date. Ms. Gilbraith, a GP receptionist, said, when he was born, doctors worked on him to get him to breathe for 5 minutes. Then they put him in a newborn bag, which is basically a drawstring sack type of bag used to keep him warm because Pace couldn't regulate his temperature. If he had been born at home, putting it in a plastic bag would have helped. Pace Gilbraith, pictured, was born 101 days ago and weighed 1 pound 4 ounces and was so small that he had to fit inside a plastic-wrapped newborn bag. The newborn, who fits in his parents' hands as a little hanging leg, spent the first weeks of his life in intensive care at Bristol Children's Hospital while his lungs were developing. When he was born, doctors worked on him to make him breathe for 5 minutes, said Isabella Gilbraith, a receptionist at GP, pictured with Pace and his father Paul. To keep him warm because Pace couldn't regulate his temperature. Pace, pictured in a plastic bag, is now cared for in hospital in Bristol, where he is in an incubator. Why are young children put in plastic bags? 1 in 13 babies born prematurely in the UK each year, it is classified as being before 37 weeks of gestation. This equates to around 60,000 babies born very early in the UK. Doctors use plastic bags or wrap them in the first 10 minutes after a premature baby is born to help them avoid hypothermia, as they are highly vulnerable to loss of body heat. Studies have shown that wrapping premature babies in plastic significantly reduces the risk of death among newborns. However, not all premature babies need specialized neonatal care. Ms. Gilbraith was taken to the Royal Worcestershire Hospital after her waters broke on March 7. Her 12-year-old was born 10 weeks early, so Gilbraith knew she could deliver early. She was taken 72 miles to Bristol where doctors attempted to delay labor but were forced to perform an emergency cesarean section 4 days later on March 11. She said, "When I got in, I was already 2 centimeters dilated, so he was desperate to get out. He was actually trying to deliver at 24 weeks but we had some medication to try and delay that. When he was 25 weeks he decided he had had enough." Ms. Gilbraith had been taking anticoagulant medication because she had been in bed for a week prior, as inactivity increases the risk of a stroke. But that means she can't get an epidural for this procedure because it increases the risk of bleeding around the spine that can cause paralysis. Pace is now cared for in hospital in Bristol, where he is in an incubator. Mrs. Gilbraith and Paul's father, a prison officer, visits him every day and is now able to hold him, despite his small size. "We're getting there slowly," said Mrs. Gilbraith. "It wasn't really my time. You can see how well he develops into a normal-looking baby," she added. "All that extra time you spend with him that you wouldn't normally get. It's all the little things you take for granted, like opening his eyes. The first time we cuddled was when he was a week old. We have a cuddle now. I think we might have taken it out about 10 times. It's cool but also stressful because you're constantly checking screens for heart levels. It was delicate and his skin was so tender you couldn't touch it. It almost fits in your hand, and its little leg dangles. Progress is slow, lungs not developing until 32 weeks. So he was on a ventilator initially and now he is on a different respirator." The couple has now created a GoFundMe page for donations to help with the travel cost of visiting Pace, such as the cost of travel between